oriented community to the south.
Yeah, I was reading that. Who's the founder?
Adolf Hegewisch.
Yeah, Adolf Hegewisch.
So we had the same concept. The rail car industry never worked that well, but there's some property to the south of the Brainerd Avenue South Shore tracks that served as a major industrial area. It never blossomed into what Pullman had just west of us here, but certainly the steel workers, the mill workers, all flocked to this area for employment. And over the years, from the early 1900s, the neighborhood was not respected in terms of an environmental condition perspective. I mean, no neighborhoods were. There weren't the strict environmental standards.
Yeah,
over the years, we've become more conscious of our environment. And I think something that we did in my office with the city and many other folks was developed a land use plan, the Calumet land use plan, that said, let's have industry here, residential here, open space, retail, residential. And that was a vast effort. We contacted hundreds, if not thousands, of property owners and had planning meetings to say, we've got to coexist harmoniously here. The things that were designed or not designed 100 years ago aren't working. You can't have an industry right next to a residence. It's just not good quality of life for either. There's too much conflict there. So we laid out a master plan that more or less identified what areas should be residential, retail, etc., and widely accepted. And I think both or all parties want to see that kind of structure so that they can anticipate what could occur for years to come.
Right.
We've had some businesses who have relocated to the 10th Ward because they were pushed out during the economic boom. They were operating as an industrial or truck driving industry, and the residential boom occurred with the conversions into lofts and so forth. And basically they were getting complaints from residents who just moved in across the street, yet they were operating there for 80 years. And they said, well, we can't deal with that. So they've come down here because we have industrial corridors that are protected, that are strictly industrial, remain industrial, so they have that sense of security. They can do that. At the same hand, we have areas that have been designated environmental and open space residential, so there's some sense of security for all those types of activities.
Sounds good. Is the Hegewisch area clearly defined, or is it
per federal guidelines? Yes. The Hegewisch area, traditionally people think of Hegewisch more or less from the Bishop Ford on the west, the city limits, which is generally 138th on the south, the state line on the east, and I would say probably to about 122nd Street. But there are formal boundaries that the federal government issues, and that includes coming all the way up here on the east side, including the mall at 118th Street. And I actually have a map that has those boundaries, but it does include some of the residential property that everyone would consider east side, probably including you too.
Yeah.
So I can show you that map if you'd like. And,
that'd be great.
Yeah, we did see a map comparing its current mapping versus I think it was like the 70s or 60s.
For population?
Well, just the geographical map, and it's grown quite a bit as far as
from the boundaries, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with too many changes, at least in the last 20 years, as far as the federal, because the federal, let's see here, the federal government per the census determines the boundaries of neighborhoods and census tracts, census blocks, and those have remained fairly constant for the last 10, 20 years. From the 70s, there may have been some small changes, but overall, these areas are clearly defined.
Yes.
So I can certainly show you that. I mean, I think even an encyclopedia probably has the formal boundaries, although I can show you in a big map what those are. And I don't know if you've seen this, or would you like to take a copy of this? Or
sure, we could.
I mean, I think we've seen a few different maps, and Aniel had a few good maps too that he showed us.
Yeah, we're definitely heading back over there because she had like a plethora of like good pictures and like good old pictures that'd be awesome when we add into here. But
here's the Hegewisch area, and